Sherry Riles and her 73-year-old mother Marlene Riles were driving in Ferndale when they came across three teenagers brutally beating a young boy in the street. Cars were passing, pedestrians were watching, but no one was responding. Sherry pulled the car over to call 911 and decide what to do. And without a moment's hesitation or concern for her own safety, Marlene leapt out of the car and began adamantly calling out to the teens to stop. Two ran off immediately, and the third turned to confront her, yelling excuses for his actions, but then retreated, giving the young boy the chance to escape to safety. If not for the quick actions of Marlene, the boy may not have survived the beating. The Mount Baker chapter is honored to recognize Marlene and Sherry Riles as the 2013 Good Samaritan Heroes.
I was driving and I pulled over and took out my cell phone and I said, Mom, I'm going to call 911, and I was trying to compose next course of action because I did not know if these young men had weapons, didn't know the situation, and the disturbing part of it was that there were two men that appeared to be in their 30s actually parked on the side, leaning on the top of their car watching, and other cars, passerbys were going around them while this was unfolding.
She was reaching for her cell phone. I said, Sherry, I don't know if there's going to be time for this. And I said, this looks pretty critical. And so she didn't know what I was going to do, but I got out of the car.
I grabbed her before she got out of the car.
And she said, what are you doing? and I said, I got out of the car and I stood by the side of the car and I screamed to them, stop. And they just were kind of, I don't know if they heard me or not, so I screamed at the top of my lungs, stop, stop. After I screamed it the third time, they finally stopped, and they looked kind of startled, and two of the men walked away, and the third one said something about, well, he tried to break into our apartment or something that didn't make sense at all. And then those two men walked away too, and the little boy just kind of was hunched over, and I was so surprised that he was able to walk. I didn't see blood or anything, but he was hunched over, and a little skinny friend of his helped him get on a bike, and they drove away. But when first, right after I screamed at him, and the two boys were walking away, I said, it takes four of you big guys to beat on one little boy like that. And because I was seriously afraid that they were going to hurt him really bad or kill him.
I didn't even get a chance to call 911 because at that point I had to focus on the safety of my mom.
What was happening?
So I put my phone down and I was starting to get out of the car, but she handled it, and she's being very modest right now, but she got out in a very fierce way, projected that mom energy, that protective energy, and she said, stop! And she flipped that wig
yes,
of hers.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
this is her
yes.
hair, but she when we
yes,
were children
I was fierce.
in the neighborhood,
I was.
When she flipped her hair, we knew we better listen. And we never had to be spanked. We just knew there was a certain way she carried herself when she did that gesture. And apparently these young men felt it too, and they stopped.
Scared.
And didn't even have a chance to call the police. And afterwards, we drove around to find the young man to make sure he was okay and to possibly talk to his parents and offer ourselves as witnesses if they wanted to file an assault charge, but we could not find him, so apparently he lived real close nearby.
It was something I had to do. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that that's what I had to do, because I imagined the worst, which could have definitely happened. They could have definitely killed him by accident, or who knows. I don't know what they were trying to do, because it was so surreal to me that three older men, young men would do this. So I wasn't sure what they were going to do. Were they just trying to hurt him really bad? Or it could have been an accident, or they could have killed him. I don't know what they were trying to do, because they were really fierce with him and very violent.
This is like a pattern for her, and it's just really nice to see her get this honor from the Red Cross, because it's how and who she is, and she's an advocate, and she doesn't call her, she just thinks she's a citizen doing the right thing, but it does take courage to take it to the next level, and I'm really proud of her.
I see a lot of kids get bullied, and I always intervene, but and I never expect any recognition or anything for it. And this is the first time I've ever got recognition. So it makes me feel really good, and I'm ready to cry.